This video will go over how to access the trigonometric functions on a calculator. That's too hard to say. Just say trig and we'll know what we all mean. So the three trig functions are sine, cosine and tangent. Now on the calculator that we're using, there's a couple of ways you can do this, but I just wanted to point something out that could be a bit strange. So let's go ahead and put in a trig function, and conveniently there's a button labeled trig. If you click, there you go, brings up all the functions. So the top row are the functions and the bottom row are the inverse functions. So if you want to convert to an angle or from an angle, you can use the to an angle, the bottom ones, and from an angle, the top ones. But you'll see that in an example in a minute. So you just pick the function, and let's say we've got a triangle like this. Get my pen working. So we've got a triangle like this, right angle triangle, angle in there, 60 degrees. And we won't worry about the sides just yet. We just want to find out what the sine of 60 is. So put in 60 and enter. And what? Sine of 60 is 60? Yes, a calculator, that's quite correct. Something odd going on here. Why hasn't that given me some sort of dot number that I can use to calculate the other sides? The reason is that your calculator could be in radians or degrees. If you ever want to check, I'll show you the actual way of going inside the calculator settings, but a little tip I found on YouTube is do the same thing again. Let's say we go for sine, but this time put it in radians. So 60 degrees, a little bit of revision here, so 60 degrees is, that's the way I like to work it out in my head, 60 degrees, so all the way around in degrees is 360, and all the way around in radians is 2 pi. So if you want to know what that 60 degrees is in radians, it's going to be 60 over 360 multiplied by 2 pi. 1,613, so it's about pi over 3. So back to the calculator, let's put in that angle expressed in radians. In fact, if you want to be purist, put a little r there, which shows you that it's in radians, not in bananas. So we'll put in a little neat thing I never knew you could do. You can actually type in pi divided by 3. Enter. And we get, okay, root 3 over 2. Okay, so now that's an actual number. It hasn't just said back to us sine of pi over 3, it's sine of pi over 3. So this shows me that the calculator is in radian mode, which could be fine, but always check to see in your example you're working through, or you're even on the exam, for example, whether it's in radians or degrees. The way, in this case, I'll probably want to set my calculator back to degrees, because most of the time you'll be working in degrees. To do that, from the scratch pad, click on dock button, go down to settings and status, and down to document settings. And the second option there shows you the unit of angle being used. In this case, it's using radians. We'll switch back to degrees. Enter. Yep, okay. So now when we go, actually you can use this sin of, oops, that didn't work. Maybe I'll do it, sorry, I'll do it this way. I thought you could type it in. So sine of 60, enter, and root 3 over 2. So there you go. So now our calculator is in degrees, which is what we want.